5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, liftoff and the clock has started. Yes, sir, reading you loud and clear.
It is July 21st, 2018, just after 10:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and you are looking at a live view of the Falcon 9 rocket with the Telstar19 Vantage spacecraft on top, awaiting liftoff from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in Florida. Good evening from SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California. My name is Brian Malstead, and I'm a software engineer in our flight software department here at the headquarters, and I'll be your host for tonight's webcast. Now, today we are launching the Telstar19 Vantage spacecraft to a geostationary transfer orbit. Liftoff is currently targeted for 1:50 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time or 5:50 Coordinated Universal Time. This will be SpaceX's 13th launch so far this year, and today we will be flying a brand new Block 5 booster, which we will be attempting to land on our East Coast drone ship named, of course, I Still Love You.
Forward, coming down nicely, 200 feet, 4.5 down, 5.5 down, 100 feet, 3.5 down, 9 forward. Okay, 75 feet, star's looking good, down a half, 6 forward, 60 seconds. Lights on, forward, forward, 40 feet down, 2.5, picking up some dust, straight shadow, 4 forward, drifting to the right a little, 30 seconds forward, contact light, okay, engine stop, we copy you down, Eagle. Houston, Tranquility Base here, the Eagle has landed.
This is Apollo Control Houston at 105 hours.
世界は人類がその歴史上初めて月面に一歩を踏む瞬間を待っているのであります。街の通りにはかなり多くの人が見られますが、大多数の人はもちろんテレビを見られるホテルのロビーとか休憩室に集まっています。私たちは待っているので。
pour la première fois prennent pied sur la Lune. Les rues sont loin d'être vides naturellement, mais naturellement aussi c'est surtout dans les halls d'hôtels, les bars et les appartements que les gens se groupent, c'est-à-dire partout où ils peuvent trouver un récepteur de télévision. Et nous attendons tous.
Während die Welt darauf wartet, dass ein Mensch zum ersten Mal den Mond betritt.
And the world waited. July 20th, 1969. It is said that 500 million people gathered at TV sets around the world to wait for the first Earthling to set foot on the moon. Countless millions more listened on the radio to the voices from the moon.
This is Neil, radio check. Neil, this is Houston, loud and clear. Break, buzz.
Never before had so many people been attuned to one event at one time. The world waited, curious, wondering, aware, like a sleeper wakened in the night by a faraway sound. A moment sensed, more than understood.
Then what? Okay, Neil, we can see you coming down the ladder now. Neil, we can see you coming. Okay, I just checked. Getting back up to that first step, that hasn't collapsed too far, but it's adequate to get back up. Roger, we copy. It's a pretty good little jump. I'm at the foot of the ladder. The 11-foot beds are only depressed in the surface about 1 or 2 inches, although the surface appears to be very, very fine-grained as you get close to it. It's almost like a powder. Ground mass is very fine. I'm going to step off the limb. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
That's one small step for man,
pequeño paso para
one giant leap for mankind.
C'est un bond en avant gigantesque et magnifique.
L'homme est sur la Lune à 22h50.人類が月面に到着しました。ケープケネディ時間で4時17分。
Now, for tonight's mission, we're launching out of Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, which is one of SpaceX's 2 East Coast launch sites. On the pad, you can see the 2-stage Falcon 9 vehicle. It stands 70 meters tall, which is greater than the wingspan of a 747 aircraft. The spacecraft itself is currently sitting inside of the 17-foot diameter payload fairing, which is that round upper portion at the top of Stage 2. Once we reach the vacuum of space, we will jettison the fairing halves as Stage 2 continues on its journey to orbit. Now, tonight's mission is the second flight of our Block 5 vehicle design, and it is the first Block 5 launch from Space Launch Complex 40. Block 5 represents a series of upgrades to Falcon 9, and these designed to allow us to reuse each F9 10 times or more, as well as reduce refurbishment between flights. You can see some of the primary visual differences in the Block 5 design, the most prominent of which is that black inner stage in the middle of your screen now.
Come, man! Thanks for saving us. I'm back. You're a prisoner. Business? Silence! You ought to be taking the...
Uh-oh. Here they come. You better put a reverse, Doc.
Ignition. Liftoff. Starting about 30 seconds from now. Again, MECO, separation, SES. Stage separation confirmed. heard the callouts and saw the visual confirmation of main engine cutoff, stage separation from those onboard cameras, and then second engine start. And as a treat, we were able to see that green flash from the T-tab that I mentioned earlier as second stage ignited. The next milestone is fairing deploy. I mentioned these earlier, but we're going to jettison those fairing halves because once we're out in space, we no longer need that aerodynamic shield, so in order to become more fuel efficient, we get rid of this unnecessary mass.
Vehicle on nominal trajectory. Fairing separation confirmed.
And we've successfully had fairing separation. As those halves gently float away, we now have Telstar attached to second stage, exposed to the vacuum of space, continuing on through its first burn. Now we had successful liftoff. First stage is heading back. The sequence that we're going to perform regarding the burns for the first stage is a 2-burn sequence. It's going to be re-entry and landing. There's no boost back burn this time because we're simply going to follow a ballistic trajectory out into the Atlantic Ocean. That will occur about 2 minutes from now. And if you're just joining us, we're looking at the burning Merlin vacuum engine on second stage. The vehicles have lifted off. We have separated first and second stage. Second stage is continuing on, doing its first of 2 bland burns, carrying Telstar to GTO, while first stage goes back and is about a minute and a half away from conducting its first of 2 burns upon re-entry through the atmosphere. Now we're about 40 seconds away from that first re-entry burn, as I mentioned, and the purpose of this burn is to slow the vehicle down. Out in space, there aren't many particles. It's much sparser out there. But once we re-enter the Earth's atmosphere, the air actually creates quite a bit of drag on the vehicle, so we want to burn to slow ourselves down so that we don't experience a bunch of heat and stress accumulation on first stage. So again, on your right, second stage in Merlin vacuum is burning. On the left, we have first stage onboard cameras who are about to start their re-entry burn. So again, on your right, second stage in Merlin vacuum is burning. On the left, we have first stage onboard cameras who are about to start their re-entry burn.
Stage 1 entry burn has started.
There you have it. This burn will last for about 20 seconds. And again, a quick eye would notice the continuity of that T-TEP green flash again as the engine's ignited.
done what no man before had done? A technological feat that was believed beyond the realm of possibility? The fulfillment of an age-old dream? Were we celebrating simply because it had been a long time since we'd had anything to celebrate? Or was this something that touched an irrational, unthinking instinct in us all?